The Pittsburgh Steelers, they've been a model of consistency for as far back as you can remember, but more questions coming into this season than I can recall in recent years. But when you have Ben Roethlisberger and the talent that they have on this roster, you're still going to have a chance to win a bunch of games.
That first chance comes against the reigning AFC East champions, the Buffalo Bills, a team that has beaten the Steelers in the previous 2 seasons.
Watt is raring to go. And this place is juiced up. Feels like a collective release from all of these fans.
Let's go, man!
It's a benchmark test right off the bat to find out what these 2021 Pittsburgh Steelers are made of.
Here we go! This pass is caught, and that's a touchdown! That's the way to work. Come on. He's hit that sack. The Steelers win the football game. Let's go! Come get it. You know what it is. This one is in the history books. Here we go.
Welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. I'm Missi Matthews. Few outside of the Steelers' locker room thought they would leave Highmark Stadium on Sunday with a win. And even fewer thought that the Steelers' defense would be able to hold Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills to 1 touchdown all day. The Steelers' offense was able to overcome a slow start in the first half, and special teams threw its hat in the ring with a blocked punt returned for a touchdown. For more on the Steelers' first win of the 2021 season, let's head over to Bob Pompeani, who's with Coach Tomlin. Bob?
All right, Missi, thanks very much. What a way to kick off the 2021 season, going to a place like Buffalo and coming away with a well-earned 23-16 win. Coach Tomlin is here to talk about it. And, Coach, number one, when you sit back and look at it, I would imagine that defense was the real story in this game. And when I look at the pressures, even without the benefit of a blitz, you guys really came after the quarterback and made life miserable for him.
You know, there were certain things that we had to acknowledge going into the game. We knew that the defense had to carry us, at least at the early stages. Environmentally, it was going to be challenging for offenses to work. It was opening day. It was the first time in over a year that the fans have been able to engage in that way. And so we knew that that was going to create challenges. But couple that with the fact that we were starting 4 significant rookies in our offensive unit, coupled with some other people that are new to Pittsburgh, we knew it would take us a while to maybe gain cohesion and find our footing and move the ball fluidly in that phase. And so it was important that our defense held it down until we were able to get going, and they did that. And the catalyst for that was going to be our pressure. We knew that that guy was going to spread us out and utilize all his weapons at the receiver position. And so our 4 had to beat their 5 is what we said all week, and our collection of 4 rushmen did the job.
Yeah, Cam Hayward, too. I looked at the numbers, 12 pressures. I mean, has the guy been drinking from the fountain of youth? How is this possible for a guy his age on a defensive line?
I don't know. I know I challenge him at every opportunity regarding his age and so forth, and he takes that in a good spirit. I think more than anything, Cam is just such a quality leader for us. He focuses his energy on being what it is that we need him to be, not only from a leader standpoint, but just in terms of the quality of play. I can't say enough about what he's willing to do for us.
You also have Melvin Ingram, who came right in and made an impact. 8 pressures himself. He got a lot of snaps. It's pretty amazing, and I'm sure Highsmith, he was bothered with an injury earlier in the week. But those 3 together, when you can rotate, I imagine that is it the best, core potentially of outside backers you've had here in, recent years?
Definitely. We're excited about the group. We've got 3 starters at that position. It allows us to rotate them and keep them all fresh and inactive. It was doubly important against Buffalo because TJ had missed a significant amount of work, and Alex had missed some work as well with a minor injury. And so going into the game, we knew that it was extremely important that we stick to that script and play all 3 guys, and all 3 guys stayed fresh and delivered the type of splash that we expect from that position. We're an outside linebacker football team, outside linebacker defense, always have been, and so those guys embrace the responsibility of being catalysts for us.
In an age where a lot of teams kind of make quick changes, your franchise, your coaching staff, you've been patient. And when that happens, you can get a lot of production out of players you may never have expected at the beginning. And I cite James Pierre as this undrafted guy who must have impressed you a lot last year to give him, high leverage plays in this defense. What is it about, patience as a coaching staff that can bring out the best in some of these guys?
It's not only us as coaches, but it's the consistency that we have in our core veteran players as well. Guys like Joe Hayden have been really significant, and Cam Sutton have been really significant in terms of the development of James Pierre. As a matter of fact, I know he spends quite a bit of time in the offseason living and training with Minka, for example. The brotherhood that we have within our unit as a defense and our football team, I can't say enough about. They aid us tremendously in terms of the development of individual players, and I think about those guys specifically when I think about the growth and development of James Pierre. Those veteran corners in that secondary, they've done an awesome job of putting their hand in the pile and making sure that he's growing and reinforcing the things that we know are important, that they know are important due to their experience in the game. They share that urgency with him, and that allows all our young guys to grow in a big way. Love what I'm seeing from Eric Ebron, for example, at tight end in terms of helping Pat gain experience that he does not have. There are examples of that all over our football team. It helps us in a big way.
Offensively, you knew you had some young guys in there and sort of baptism by fire. When you look back at the tape, did they get incrementally better as the game went on? And how important was that in the second half where your offense came on so strong?
No question they got incrementally better. Just to be in an environment like that with the number of new people that we had and to have as few of pre-snap penalties as we had in the game. Man, it could have been a false start show, with a rookie left tackle in an environment like that. But guys like Dan Moore and others, man, they really adapted to the environment. They trusted their preparation and the points that we made. They settled down as the game unfolded. Obviously, we could get better, and there's a lot of things that we need to work on. But I love their spirit. I love their can-do attitude. I love their grit and determination. And that could be useful to us in a lot of circumstances moving forward as we gain more experience, more cohesion, more expertise relative to our jobs.
Well, the next job is taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Impressive win on Monday night. They're going to be at Heinz Field tomorrow. We'll talk about that when we come back. Right now, let's send it back over to Missi Matthews.
Okay, thanks so much, Bob. The Steelers offensive line will once again have their hands full this week when the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, Max Crosby, and the Raiders defensive line come to town. Later in our show, I had a chance to go one-on-one with defensive back Cam Sutton, coming off of an impressive performance himself. Don't go anywhere. The 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show will be right back.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show. Are you 84 Lumber material? Visit 84lumber.com/careers to learn more.
Welcome back, everyone. For the first time in nearly 2 years, the Steelers are expecting full capacity at Heinz Field tomorrow. While preparations have been focused on the Las Vegas Raiders, much of the buzz has been about Steelers Nation and that home field advantage. It'll certainly be a stark difference for Pittsburgh compared to Buffalo last week. For more on this Week 2 matchup, let's check back in with Bob and Coach. Guys?
All right, Missy, it's going to be fun at Heinz Field. Fans are going to be back. What an atmosphere it should be for the home opener against the Raiders. And, Coach, I'll tell you what, they came off a pretty impressive win against a good Baltimore team on Monday night. They had to go to overtime to do it. Your take on what John Gruden has this year? It looks like a better defense for sure.
I'll start with the defense. There's no question they're going to position themselves to be better defensively. It starts with their staff selection. Gus Bradley is their coordinator. He's new to Vegas, but he's not new to John's philosophical approach as it pertains to defense. He brings with him Ron Milas in the secondary and Richard Smith at linebacker. All three coaches came from the LA Chargers, and so although they're new to Vegas, they have continuity among the staff. You couple that group with their defensive line guy and Rod Marinelli, who is one of the most seasoned and veteran guys in that space on this planet. They got a rock-solid defensive staff that I guarantee you has the continuity that will allow them to really take their new group through their maturation process. Marinelli is a guy that's coached front for a long time. He was the D-line coach in Tampa when I was a secondary coach some 20 years ago. That front is going to always get after the quarterback. Those plays where they got the ball from Lamar Jackson, there's nothing mystical about that. That's how they work. That's the spirit and the culture that they build within the schematics of that defense, and that's the type of D-line coach Rod Marinelli is.
Max Crosby had a big night at the expense of Alejandro Villanueva, and I know the assignment this week will be Chuks Okorafor. How do you see that matchup, and what does Chuks have to do to be successful against a guy who really put a lot of pressure on the Ravens?
You know, it's not just Max. They're gonna have a collection of guys. They got Yannick opposite of Max. They got the Penn Stater that they picked up from Tampa Bay. I mean, they play a lot of people, not only on the edge, but in the interior as well. They picked up Q Jeff, a Pittsburgh guy from Buffalo, that's going to play inside for them, along with some others. They got a deep rotation. That's how they maintain that level of energy that they play with. And make no mistake, that front is a catalyst in terms of splash playmaking.
All right, offensively, we heard this combination, Carr to Waller. 19 times he was targeted the other night. He got a big touchdown at the end of the game. He's a big guy, 6'6". What do you do to try to contain him? I don't know if it's possible to stop him. How do you contain him?
You know, he's Chase Claypool, you know. I think a lot of people waste a lot of time characterizing him as a tight end and trying to put him in a tight end box. You know, when you look at his measurables, you know, I guess he's listed at 238 pounds. Chase is about 235. He runs with that level of fluidity. You better respect him like Chase Claypool. There are a few tight ends on the planet today that run around like that. Tight end is listed as their position, but if you put linebackers on them and you treat them like tight ends, they're going to absolutely gore you. Kyle Pitts, the rookie draft pick out of Gainesville, is another example of that. So we're going to give him the respect that he deserves, like he is a big, oversized athlete, because that's what he is. We're going to be thoughtful about how we cover him and who we cover him with, how many people we put on him. His talents speak for themselves. He needs no endorsement from me. This is a guy that's quote-unquote a tight end that's been over 1,100 yards the last 2 seasons. He is their number one receiving option, and we better respect him as such.
You've known John Gruden for a long period of time. When he was coaching before, he's back now. Have you seen him evolve? What are the differences between John Gruden way back when to John Gruden right now?
Absolutely nothing. His footprint is all over that operation. I laughed watching the game last night because I think back to when I was a young coach and had the pleasure of being on his staff, learned a lot from him. He's engaged in a big way, but it goes beyond. I don't know that engagement is an appropriate word. His footprint is all over it. And so I'm excited about having an opportunity to compete against him, but I'm also excited about competing against a really good football team that he brings into town. What they did on Monday Night Football was no fluke. They're a good group. We got our work cut out for us this week, but such is life in the National Football League, man. This is what we all signed up for. I'm excited about being into this season and meeting challenges like this week provides.
Especially at home, in front of the home folks for the first time. It's going to be a great atmosphere at Heinz Field. The Raiders, conference opponent. These are big games for that. Coach, thanks very much. When we come back, we'll get Mike Tomlin's takes on the keys to the game. That's coming up shortly. Right now, head back to Missy.
Thanks, Bob. The Steelers' offense started slow last week in large part to environmental factors, or Bills Mafia as they're better known. But Steelers Nation will be out in full force tomorrow, so Derek Carr and the Raiders will be the ones using the silent count. When we return, I had a chance to interview Cam Sutton, who gives us his scouting report of Raiders tight end Darren Waller.
You know, a high-targeted guy, a big focal point of their offense. You know, obviously an ascending player who keeps getting better each and every year.
Welcome back to the 84 Lumber Mike Tomlin Show.
TJ Watt isn't the only member of the Steelers' 2017 draft class that got a new deal done prior to the start of the season. Juju Smith-Schuster tested free agency, but then decided to bet on himself and stay here in Pittsburgh. But don't forget about Cam Sutton. He got a new 2-year deal and has become an integral part of the Steelers defense. Here's more in my one-on-one with Sutton.
Offensive personnel out there. Everything inside, they go I. They turn, he stumbles, he throws the ball, and the Steelers play takeaway. Cam Sutton with another big play on 4th and 1.
Cam Sutton, you're a maniac. Cam Sutton knows he's got it, this man, and he makes the stop on him.
All right, Cam, going back to the win in Buffalo after the game, Coach Tomlin said you guys just played Steelers defense. In your mind, what are the character traits of the Steelers defense you guys want to have this season?
Yeah, we talk about it every day in the organization. You know, the standard is a standard. You know, everyone has accountability each and every time you step out there on the field to hold yourself to a standard, a high standard at that. Just go out there and play, like you said, still a brand of football. You know, going out there, competing at a high level, each and every down. You know, communicating, pre-snap, post-snap, and from there just playing fast, physical, and free. You know, that just kind of defines our style of play. You know, our identity and who we are, and obviously, you know, each and every time we step out on the field, we're ready to get after our opponents.
You have a few to choose from, but do you have a favorite play from that win?
Yeah, we had so many guys make you know, difference-making plays throughout the course of the game. I think the biggest ones I'm probably most excited for is obviously TJ. You know, a guy who, you know, he dealt with some things, you know, necessarily off the field. You know, a guy who stayed around the organization. You know, came to work each and every day, humble as ever, and just, you know, opportunity that, you know, not necessarily getting necessarily the amount of reps that he might have wanted, you know, to prepare, but to come out there just to see him play at a high level, continuous growth in his game, continuous growth in his leadership, just the energy that he brings, you know, it's contagious to see, it's contagious to be around, and I was, you know, extremely happy for him.
TJ said the 4th and 1 stop you had late in the game is what he called the play.
That's funny. You know, we came in together. I appreciate him, you know, just giving me that kind of nod to that play. But like I said, guys out there just playing for each other. You know, I think that's the best thing about this team. You know, we play for one another. It's easy to kind of get caught up in just, you know, that being a word or a phrase, you know, to a team or to, you know, kind of defining a style. You know, but our camaraderie and just kind of, you know, our friendship and our love for each other, you know, that really takes us a long way. And we're always excited for whoever makes the plays out there, no matter, you know, who gets the acknowledgement, no matter who gets the credit. We just want to win.
2nd and goal just outside the 10. Carr dips it in there. It's Waller. He spins into the end zone for the touchdown.
I'm pretty sure everybody saw what Darren Waller was able to do on Monday Night Football, what he means to that Raiders offense. Coach said he's more like Chase Claypool, somebody you've gone against a lot, especially in training camp. So what makes defending a guy like that so difficult?
Yeah, obviously, you know, what you already see, big, physical, you know, a guy can move, you know, don't get caught up in their size. You know, those guys that can build to speed and get going in a hurry. You know, we just have to be very sharp on our P's and Q's of just communication of all levels. And like I said with Waller, you know, we know we're going to expect from him, you know, a high targeted guy, a big focal point of their offense, you know, obviously an ascending player who keeps getting better each and every year. And we see the steps that he's been taking, you know, for that organization over there. So, you know, we just have to be ready for how they're going to use him throughout the course of the game. And like I said, just get after him as well.
And for more of that interview with Cam Sutton, you could head to the Steelers YouTube page or scan the QR code below. 2 undefeated teams are meeting tomorrow at Heinz Field, 1 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. Let's check in one final time with Bob and Coach to get his keys to the game, presented by your neighborhood Ford store.
All right, Missy, now it's time for the keys to the game, and this is going to be another big game. It's the first at home. So, Coach, let's talk about the keys to this game for you, starting with offense.
You know, for us, one of the things that I hadn't mentioned, and I probably should have, in the midst of finding our footing, dealing with the environment, dealing with the infusion of young and new guys into our ball and taking that into a stadium for the first time, we did a really good job of working to minimize negativity. We took care of the football. We were +1 in the turnover area. We weren't clean. We had a ball on the ground that was recovered by Chooks, and I'm appreciative of that, but I think it's going to be significant here in September as we continue to work and find our footing, to find the cohesion that's going to allow us to be what we're capable of being. In the meanwhile, we got to be prudent in terms of taking care of the football, doing the fundamental things well, making the routine plays routinely is something that I've been preaching and I'll continue to preach as we work to gain fluidity in that phase of our football team.
A key that I don't think we talk enough about is special teams, and we saw that play out last week in Buffalo where Killebrew came in with a block and Gilbert ran it back. Those are things that when they show up, they're big. Everybody knows they're big, but how important will they be as the season continues for you guys?
Man, it's going to be huge for us. Special teams are a legitimate phase of our game. We work our tails off in that area under the leadership of Danny Smith and core players like some of the guys that you mentioned, UG on the touchdown, Miles, although he's new to us, man, his role here as a core special teams contributor, he delivered instantly for us, and we're appreciative of that. But we've got big challenges in that space this week. They've got big-time continuity in that phase of their operation. Their special teams coordinator is also their assistant head coach. His name is Richard Bisaccia. I was on staff with him and Coach Gruden in Tampa in 2002 when we won a Super Bowl. That guy was our special teams coordinator then. The continuity in the relationship and the depth of the continuity in the relationship that he has with John Gruden really is an asset to them. The way that they infuse their attack in terms of that phase of the game with their offense and defense, the collective experience that they have is going to be challenging. And so we got to make plays in a big way in that area, and we better respect the continuity that we face in our opponent this week in the form of the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost said Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Join the club. I keep calling him Ulysses Grant. There are some things that just hard to change. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Look forward to this game tomorrow. It's a big one at home. I'm sure you're anxious to get in front of the home crowd. We get you set tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. with our pregame show, and then it's live on KDKA. After the game, we have postgame on Pittsburgh CW. That's going to do it for our program tonight. For Missi Matthews and head coach Mike Tomlin, I'm Bob Pompeani. Have a great weekend, everyone.